Hey guys, so I'm 67 years old and I'm living in the Philippines with my wife now. And the nearest gym is about, because I'm in the province, so the nearest gym is about 3 miles down that way. And the heaviest weights that I use is about 30 pounds. It's adjustable dumbbell set. And guys, I'm in the best shape of my life. And this is exactly what I do. And it doesn't matter. This is a routine that you can start no matter how old you are. 50, 60, 70, it doesn't matter. You can start at any time. After living in the United States all my life, we decided to retire here in the Philippines. And for me, retiring isn't giving up. It's about evolving. It's about building a new life and being strong enough to live it. So it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and this is always when the training starts. This is when it all begins. And so I'm going to go through what I do for lifting weights, just give you an idea of how I go about this particular routine, and the walk that we do, the what I eat, just basically what I eat. The one thing that I changed that I stopped doing that changed everything. So stick with me so you can find out what that is. So like I said, it's 4:30 and this is always when we train. And basically what's going to happen is I train 4 days every week, 4 sessions, and it's going to be 3 exercises. Usually it's one muscle group. And so for instance, what I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to do just my shoulders or just a shoulder press. And the way I do this is I'm going to start with a light weight and I'm going to lift this as many times as I can, probably about 20, 25 exercises, 25 times with just about 15 pounds on each arm. And I'm going to do that about 20, 25 times. I'm going to take a 10-second break and I'm going to do that again. And because this is really all about doing one set. And that one set is going to be a strenuous, hard set. Because what's happening is that my joints are going to kind of come along for the ride. It's all about connective tissue, and it's all about being strong. It's not about being pretty or trying to look good. It's really just about staying healthy and being strong. So let me give you an idea what I do. So basically, these are the weights that I use. This is about 15 pounds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a simple shoulder press. Then I'm going to take a 10-second break. And this is really just to, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get myself to where I'm kind of getting tired of doing just 15 pounds. When I'm done with that, I'm going to load it up with all the weight that I have, and I'm going to try and do that as many times as I can, and hopefully I'll reach 15. May not, but that's the goal. Here we go. Set 2. Okay, now I'm going to load this thing up. So now I've loaded it up, and I'm going to do my last set. Couldn't do 15 this time. But that's the whole idea. And the best part about it, guys, is the one thing that's going to change is going to be this. And I can't wait so that when I'm done this exercising, I can jump in that pool and enjoy it. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is that you want to do 3 exercises all working your shoulder. And you guys, it's easy to find different types of shoulder exercises on YouTube or wherever, but it's really important that you do the same thing for each different angle so you can hit the different parts of your shoulder. And I do this, and so one day I'm going to be doing shoulders, the next day I might be doing my biceps and my triceps and my brachialis muscle, and maybe then I will do my legs, then I'll do my back. And so basically that's kind of the way that I'm going to go about it every week. And then once all that is done, then it's going to be the walk. And this is kind of one of the fun parts, is that we get to take a walk, and for the first 5 minutes of my walk, I'm going to just kind of just relax, just take it easy, just get my legs kind of the fluid's kind of going because I'm older and I want to get the hips into it, and I want to make sure that my knees are, the fluids are flowing. And once I've done that, and after about 5 minutes have passed, I'm going to pick up my pace, because the idea is to walk for an hour at a brisk pace. And the idea behind walking for an hour at a brisk pace is that when you walk, you burn fat. And that's what we want to do, is we want to burn fat. Where if you're jogging, when you jog, let's say you jog, 3 or 4 miles, or even just a mile, whatever amount of calories that you burn off during that jog, that's all you do is burn off those calories. So let's say I jog a couple of miles and I burn off a few hundred calories, which would really take about 3 miles to do that. Well, what happens is that you've only burned off that many calories, and what will happen after that is, how easy is it to put on those calories? It just takes one wrong meal, and that's not hard to do at all, to put those calories right back on. But when you walk, you burn fat while you're walking. And so that's the whole idea, is that then I'm going to pick up the pace and I'm going to walk pretty fast. And I'm going to do that for a full hour. And the next thing that I would talk to you about is kind of my meal plan. So when I first started, I was doing the carnivore diet. And the carnivore diet worked for me in the United States. It was kind of easy there. And the only thing that I did different with the carnivore diet was I ate fruit. But I found that it was easy there because I can go to Costco and I could buy steaks and I could put them in the freezer, and I could buy pork chops and chicken and lots of eggs. It was easy to do. Well, here out in the province, it's a little bit different. While eggs are plentiful here, steak is not. And what I have to substitute is I have to substitute a lot of chicken, I have to substitute a lot of pork in my diet. And so I'm eating a lot of eggs, a lot of pork, and a lot of chicken. And I'll start my day very differently than I did in the United States, because now I start my day with a bowl of oatmeal, and I put a couple of teaspoons or a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter in it. And I always make sure that my peanut butter consists of peanuts, which is just nuts, a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt, and peanut oil. That's the only type of peanut butter that I'll eat. And the idea is that I want to get the protein and I want to get the fat from the peanut butter. It also makes the oatmeal taste good. And that seemed to work fairly well. And then for my second meal, which I usually eat right around 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll eat my first meal. And then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll have my second meal. And it kind of looks like this. And what that is right there is chicken and eggs. And I just chopped up some chicken, put a little taco seasoning sauce in it, and I cooked it up. Then I scrambled up 4 eggs, put it all together, and that's my meal. Now, for dinner, it's going to be something very similar to this, where it could be pork skewers, barbecued pork, but I'll always have another 4 eggs. Because for me, eggs is going to be the secret to the protein that I need to get, because I need to get at least 170 to 190 grams of protein every single day. Hi guys. Hello. Another way that I can do that is by eating lots of eggs. Again, I'll eat pork, and then I'll eat chicken. And if I can, I'll get some beef here, and usually I'll ground it up, because they just don't get, you just don't get ribeye steaks here at the market or at the palenque. And then I'll get apples, or I'll get some pears, and those will be the fruit that I get. And I like to eat apples mostly. And most of, you're not going to hear this, because most people tell you don't eat apples, it's too much sugar. And it's just not true. I like to eat the apples because it helps with the fiber, and you need to have fiber. And that's going to be basically my meal plan throughout the week. And I'm very, very, very strict on my diet. Now, as I said, there was one thing that I stopped doing that really changed everything. And not everybody wants to stop doing this, but for me, I can't think of anything that worked better. And what that was I stopped drinking alcohol. Now, just so you know, I didn't stop altogether. So on a special occasion, I will have a drink. Uh, I plan on having a drink in that pool every once in a while, a glass of wine, maybe a margarita. But I used to drink every day, and I used to have at least, a couple of glasses of wine every night. And I used to, maybe have a margarita every now and then. But it was kind of on a regular basis. And what happened, though, guys, is I started to get a tire around my tummy, and it just wouldn't go away. But I'll tell you, when I stopped drinking, that changed everything. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but stopping, not drinking on a regular basis really changed everything. And just so I didn't start doing this because I wanted to look a certain way, other than getting rid of that tire that I had around my belly. But I really did this because I want to be strong and I want to live a good long life. I want to enjoy my retirement. And so I decided that this was going to be a way. And it took me a while really to find this routine, because I had to find a routine that I wanted to do. I remember years ago, I was in my 50s, and I did the P90X. You may not have heard of that, but that's a real hard program to do. It's an hour of real strenuous exercise. And me, my wife, and my son, we all did it together. And it had excellent results. I can tell you it was wonderful. But the problem was it wasn't sustainable. It was so hard to do that you just couldn't do it for the rest of my life. But this program that I'm doing right now, I can do for the rest of my life, no problem. And I probably will keep it up because I like being strong. I like feeling strong. I like being healthy. So guys, for any of you guys, all you guys who are over 60 years old, tell me, what's something that you do to stay strong? Because, guys, I read everything. I read every comment that we get. And I'd be really curious as to what you do to stay in shape, if you do anything to stay in shape. And just for everyone that has been following the channel, just so you know, the crew, the engineer took the crew from the house. He's working on another project, and they'll be working on it for a good week or so. And when they're done, then they're going to come back and they're going to start working on our house. It's slated to be done by the end of September. So stay tuned. And welcome to the evolution.